The psychology of persuasion. When you heard the word persuasion, what do you think about first? Some may think about advertising messages that they see all the time, the ones that focus on trying to get the viewer to choose a particular product or go after a political candidate. Persuasion is a mighty force that we are going to see in our daily life, and it does have a level of influence on society as a whole, as well as on the individual. Mass media, legal decisions, news, politics, advertising, and more are all going to be influenced by the power of persuasion, and that same persuasion is going to affect us as well. Many people believe that they are immune to persuasion. They think that they can see through any sales pitch that comes their way and have a good comprehension about what the truth is in any given situation. This might be true some of the time, but there are so many different types of persuasion, and they aren't all going to be a pushy salesman who wants to sell you something, or even a commercial on the television. You will find that persuasion can be subtle, and it comes from people we are close to, ones we wouldn't expect at all. The way that we are going to respond to these influences is going to depend on our background, along with many other factors. When most people think about persuasion, they're going to focus on some of the negative examples of it. This is the way that a manipulator would try to use persuasion. But there are times when persuasion can be used in more of a positive way. For example, if you have ever seen a public service campaign that urged people to stop smoking or to recycle, then you have seen an example of positive persuasion. So this brings up the question, what is persuasion? According to Perloff in 2003, persuasion is a symbolic process in which communicators try to convince other people to change their attitudes or behaviors regarding an issue through the transmission of a message in an atmosphere of free choice. Always remember that no matter how strong the persuasion is, the victim does get a choice in how they act. The manipulator may work to take away this choice or make it seem like there aren't any choices, but there is still that freedom of choice present. There are a few key elements that come into play when we are talking about persuasion. These are going to include 1. Persuasion is something symbolic. It is going to use a variety of features, including sounds, images, words, and more. 2. Persuasion is going to involve a deliberate attempt by one person to influence another person or a group of people. 3. Self-persuasion is key. The person is always going to have the freedom to make a choice, and they will never be coerced. 4. Methods of transmitting persuasive messages can occur in many different ways. This can include options that are nonverbal and verbal, as well as through face-to-face, internet, radio, television, and more communication options. What is subliminal persuasion? Subliminal persuasion is going to be the technique of convincing your target or your group of goals to do something without them knowing. There isn't going to be any outward suggesting of the idea, and often the victim isn't going to realize that you were trying to influence them at all. It is one of the types of persuasion that manipulators and others can use, and it is going to use words, along with some gestures, to get a hold of different people. So you may find things like smiling, use of the head, eye expression, and more being used, both positively and negatively. It is a powerful technique, but often a difficult technique that not only uses words, but uses the meaning behind the words and body language to ensure that the victim does what the manipulator wants. In our modern world, the techniques that are used for subliminal persuasion are going to be powerful weapons that can help you get ahead. They can help you to manipulate others or even gain an advantage in a market where there is a lot of competition and you need to stay ahead of the game. According to some experts in the field of marketing and persuasion, many people choose subliminal advertising because it is more effective. As they say, persuasion that looks like persuasion isn't persuasive anymore. Even a manipulator can use this information to help them take control of the victim. If the persuasion that they use is too obvious, then the victim is just going to walk away. We see so many examples of persuasion in our daily lives that it is easy to recognize the more obvious signs and stay away from them, if we don't want to purchase something or do something. If a manipulator comes at their victim with a big sales pitch, lots of bright flashing lights, and other apparent techniques of persuasion, then they will get nowhere. The victim is smart enough to recognize these signs, and they will get away from the manipulator. And this is where subliminal persuasion can come in. Every time that the manipulator communicates with their victim, they are going to be very careful about the nonverbal signs that they are sending out as well. While they still have to say words, your victim is going to notice if you stand around sending out nonverbal cues and never talking. The manipulator is going to try and send out extra messages and extra persuasion through the body language and the nonverbal cues that they are sending out as well. Since subliminal persuasion is going to deal with the feelings that the victim has, there is going to be some subconscious element in this kind of persuasion. As a manipulator, or another type of person who needs to use persuasion, you will provide the victim's mind with some feelings of enthusiasm and comfort about doing a given task. Those thoughts and emotions are going to be sent out to the subconscious mind, but then we have to take to the logical mind too. You can then talk to this part of the mind by discussing the things that are rational about the choice. Now, there are going to be a few subliminal factors that are going to influence whether the manipulator is going to be believable. For instance, the way that the manipulator dresses is going to be a factor. They are going to make sure that the victim sees the manipulator at their very best. They will dress nicely, make sure that their appearance is kept up, and always look like they are doing well. Even when they are trying to play the victim and say that they are hurt or dealing with an illness, your manipulator will still dress nice. The reason for this is the likability factor that we talked about before. We are programmed to be more likely to help out someone with a beautiful appearance, someone who is well-groomed, compared to someone who is not. If the manipulator wants to exploit this factor, then they are going to take some extra precautions with their appearance. There can also be a level of subliminal persuasion that is used in the language of the manipulator as they ask for a favor. There is a lot of truth in the idea of, it's not what you say, but how you say it. The manipulator isn't going to say anything that is too out there, because this is something that may raise some flags with their victim. But the way they use their words will make a difference, and usually gets them what they want. The way that the manipulator will use their inflections and intonations will also have a bearing on the meaning of what you say. If you see a sentence like, "I can't promise you that price," you may assume that it is just one meaning, and that is it. But depending on the way that the manipulator or salesperson uses it, there may be a few different meanings. Take a look at some of the examples below to see what we mean here. "I can't promise you that price." This one can infer that one person can't do it, but maybe there is someone else who can offer that price. "I can't promise you that price." This one is going to infer that there is just no way that the person is going to get that price. "I can't promise you that price." This one is going to infer that there isn't a guarantee, but that the manipulator might be able to do them a favor and get that price. "I can't promise you that price." This one is going to infer that the manipulator isn't willing to get you that price, but maybe they will promise that price to someone else. "I can't promise you that price." This one infers that the manipulator is going to see what they can do. They may not be able to offer exactly that, but they could still get you something good. "I can't promise you that price." This one is going to infer that they will still be able to promise you something, even if the price point doesn't fall in the desired spot. The meaning of statements is a great way to utilize the ideas of subliminal persuasion, and there can be so many different meanings based on the words that the manipulator or any other person decides to emphasize, and it is sometimes such a subtle process that we can hear the sentence and infer the meaning without even realizing what is going on. Think about the intonation that you can use when you say a specific sentence, and then imagine the power that goes behind those words based on what a manipulator would be able to use with them as well. There are about 3 choices that come with intonation and the way that it can change up the meaning of the whole sentence. As we go through and say something, the 3 ways to finish up that sentence would include: 1. A downward, which would mean that the intonation is a deeper voice. 2. A voice intonation that doesn't change at all. 3. An intonation that goes up. Subliminal persuasion and advertising. One topic that we need to take a look at, this topic is known as subliminal advertising. This type of advertising aims to use our subconscious minds against us to profit another company. The business is going to sneak different emotions, feelings, and thoughts into the things that we consume in the hopes that we are going to want to purchase more of that same product. In some countries, the idea of subliminal advertising has been banned because it has been recognized how dangerous this kind of manipulation tactic can be against the consumer. However, it is pretty common that an advertiser can get into the head of the consumer, and most of these advertisers are good at doing it. They sometimes even pay to have potential consumers monitor how the brain functions while watching the commercial. This helps the advertisers to get a better idea of how the brain is going to work while watching the advertisement, and then they can make adjustments to make it stronger. During these times, the advertisers are going to monitor several things. For example, they may decide to track eye movement to see what part of the commercial is drawing the attention of the crowd more. The advertising company can then use this information to sell a product and to be as effective with the subliminal persuasion as possible. This shows just how powerful advertising can be and how it has broken into our brains, understanding how to sell us something better than our understanding of capitalism and what it means to be a consumer. Let's think about a chocolate commercial, for example, here. The advertisement could show a picture of a peanut butter cup. You see the logo, just for a second, but then there is nothing else on the screen that tells you to purchase that treat. However, this is enough to tell you about the candy bar, and the idea gets stuck in your head. This can make it more likely that you will purchase that same item when you head to the store next time. Of course, we don't always give in to what we see in advertisements, even with subliminal persuasion. We see thousands of ads during the week, and of course, we aren't going out and purchasing thousands of items, but it is effective. Think about the reason that you do buy some of the things that you own. Think about the reasons that you have a ton of stuff around the house that you never use. All of this could be due to the process of subliminal advertising and persuasion. While this is often seen as one of the easy to recognize tactics in advertising, many other methods can use this too. Manipulators like to use this kind of tactic to get the things that they want because they know that it is useful and they know that it can help them without the victim catching on to what they are doing.